Hey people, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from in the world. My name is Naomi Empowers, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to another episode of the Naomi Empowers Show. We do this every Sunday at 8 p.m. British Summer Time, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, and at midday if you are in the US and on the West Coast. I'm really excited to be with you all once again. The Naomi Empowers Show is all about really pooling the knowledge and wisdom and learning from our community and sharing it on a broader platform so that people are able to take away some value, no matter where they may be, no matter if they are connected to people who inspire them, empower them, and encourage them to be more, achieve more, and have more, or not. So I just want to welcome all of you who are joining us today, and to let you know that the purpose behind why we do the Naomi Empowers Show, it is really about helping people grow, helping people develop, helping people become better versions of themselves. And we do this by leveraging the knowledge and the life lessons from other people within our community who are doing incredible things. So as usual, I love to see who we have on. So if you let us know what your name is and where you are tuning in from, we'll definitely love to give you a shout out. So I see that we have Bianca. Hey, Bianca, all the way from Germany. I think you're in Germany. Is that right? Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I'll be honest with you. This has been a bit of a challenging weekend. Yes, while I'm very happy to be with you all, it's been a tough weekend. Let me just see this. Finished your book. Watching my thoughts. Oh, amazing. So, what Bianca is referring to, for those of you who do not already know, I brought out a book and it's called Success, the Inside Job. And actually it's available right now on Amazon. If you just go to amazon.co.uk or amazon.com, depending on where you are in the world, and search for Naomi Empowers or Success, the Inside Job, you will definitely be able to find it. And I'm excited to hear that Bianca has absolutely finished the book. Well done. Thank you so much for your support, Bianca. And she's joining us from sunny Germany. Not bad. Thank you so much for being with us today. Anyway, as I said, this has been a hard weekend, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. I had a bit of a calamity, a bit of an accident on Friday. I think I'm dramatizing. It wasn't that much of a big deal, but the pain was a big deal. So anyway, on Friday morning, I was just about to send my children to the bathroom. We were going to head out. Oh, who's that? Phoebe says, yes, she has it too. The Dream Days Network is giving their applause as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Anyway, this is what happened to me. Sorry, seem to have some ambulances flying past my window. So Friday, I was minding my own business, heading to the bathroom, ushering the children in the bathroom as well. And I stepped a bit funny. That's all I can really say. And as I took the step, I knew that I had made a mistake. I knew something was wrong. And the pain that hit my foot, I don't know what happened. I had to sit back down immediately. It was excruciating. But I was busy. I was a woman on a mission. Had no time for sickness, no time for illness. And so I powered on, kept on going. And it was only when I arrived at my parents' place to drop off some things for my dad, my younger sister, Danielle, who is almost a medical doctor. I only got a couple more years left. She decided to take a look at my foot because I was complaining, was limping, and it was massive. Yeah, my foot was puffy. It was bruised. It didn't look good. And so we did all the, putting ice on it, having it elevated. I was in terrible pain. Did all of that. And it would go down, the swelling, but then it would come right back up again. Anyway, last night, I had it. Enough was enough. I thought, you know what? I have to go to A&E to get this checked. And my sister Danielle forced me as well. She said, listen, you need to go and get this thing x-rayed. It could be fractured. Doesn't think it's broken. So I went to A&E last night. I got home at 4:30 this morning. I'm pleased to say that it's not broken, not fractured, but I got some ligament damage and it is terrible. I would lift up my foot to show you the state of my foot right now in the bandage, but it would be rather unladylike. I'm wearing a skirt underneath this, and so I don't think anyone wants to see that. But yeah, trust me, it's been a tough weekend. So if I seem a little bit crazy today, I'm definitely high on pain meds right now because it was a very, very serious injury. And it still hurts as we speak right now. So if you see me wincing, don't worry, it's the pain, but hopefully these meds will keep it all under control. Anyway, I'm excited to introduce our special guest for today. You know how it is. I'm not going to give any introduction. I'm going to let her introduce herself. But before we do that, I'm going to show you a short clip to give you an idea of who it is that we have joining us today and what she's all about. And once the little clip finishes, the next face that you will see on your screen is the amazing, the talented, the beautiful Susanne Kirlew, also known as Curly Sue. So stay tuned, guys. Hey, Susanne.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I hope you're feeling better.
Well, I would be lying if I said yes, but we're going to just keep it moving anyway.
Okay.
How's your weekend been?
My weekend's been good. Usually I'm doing too much, but I'm learning to not overschedule myself. So yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay. Well, again, it's my privilege to be able to welcome you to the Naomi Empower Show. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation and joining us today. Look, I'm going to be 100% authentic and keep it real, everyone. We had a little bit of a panic earlier because we were having some technical difficulties. We couldn't get Susanne on the line properly, but I'm so glad she's here finally. We've been able to get it together. So thank you so much for joining us, Susanne.
Thank you for having me.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. Susanne, talk to me. How has lockdown been for you these past few months? What's been happening? How have you been finding things?
Well, when the lockdown first started, it was a bit scary at first. I've just had a book published in November. And thank you.
You all should have seen that. Oh, good, she's got it with her. Lovely.
Yeah.
It was in the intro, in case you didn't catch it. Yeah. Love it.
So I was doing a book tour, and I was supposed to go to South Africa next month.
Ooh.
And just as England was about to lock down, I was speaking with the studios in America about which dates I was going to come to record.
Yeah.
Because I was doing some interviews and shows based on my book to help promote the book. And then the studios in America said, it's 3ABN studios in America. They said, we think this is going to be a global pandemic because of all the things that we're hearing. So we're going to have to come back to you with the dates. And they haven't as yet. So obviously, you know what happened.
Yeah.
So I was kind of thinking, all right, what do I do now? I was thinking, obviously, I can't do the book tour in the same way because I had 15 stops. I was going to different vegan festivals, loads of different bookings. So I thought,
wait! Don't even go any further. I can't believe no one in the comments told me that I have not done what I always do. Susanne, please forgive me. I don't even mean to interrupt because I see that we're about to get into some conversation here, and you're going to be definitely inspiring the people. But before Here's the thing. I'm taking it for granted that everyone knows you. So Susanne and I are friends. We have chats all the time and it's always an inspiring conversation. But I recognize that there are going to be some people, whether watching live or on the replay, who have never come across you before. So as I ask all of my guests, I want you to introduce yourself. However, I don't want the humble version. I want you to be bringing out all the receipts and letting the people know exactly who you are.
Okay. My name is Susanne Kirlew, also known as Curly Sue. I'm a vegan cook. I'm an author, published author. I'm a social media influencer. I produce television programs. I have a series on Amazon Prime at the moment called Curly Sue's Global Kitchen. In addition to that, I do speaking engagements. I've just been booked to speak for a Vegan Women's International online event that's happening middle of next month. So I do lots of speaking engagements as well. And I also do brandy. I work with different brands that are vegan or have vegan options to help them to promote their brand across my social media. And I also help restaurants as well who want to have a vegan option and just don't know what to do. So that's kind of some of what I do.
And honestly, that is some of what she does. She hasn't brought out everything, but to be honest, if we were to go through every single one of her accomplishments and the things that she actually does, and at a really high standard, I fear that we wouldn't have much time for the actual conversation. I have to say that, you know, Susanne is definitely one of those people who I will have a conversation with at, let's say, the beginning of the week, and then I've got 1,000,001 things on my to-do list that I just have to get done, because she is truly a source of inspiration for me. It's great to be able to rub shoulders with people who help to keep you going, people who help you move from where you are to where you want to be and give you, you know, kind of cheering you on in the background. Susanne is definitely that person to me. So I wanted to bring her here to you all so that you can get some of what I get in private, but you can get it in a public way. So Susanne,
that's lovely.
Come on, go ahead. Tell us, what were you saying? Talk to us. So lockdown happened. South Africa hasn't happened yet. No. The studios, you know, that hasn't come together. So what has been or should I say, share with our viewers, how have you pivoted? What have you been doing instead with your time?
Well, the series that I now have on Amazon, at the beginning of the lockdown, it wasn't on Amazon Prime. So I had been meaning to speak with them about getting it on there. And I'd spoken to a friend of mine who's a digital marketer, and he was saying, do you know how to get it onto Amazon? I said, yeah, sure. And he said, I think you should put it on there. So I went through the process with Amazon. And because usually the process takes 4 days once they've approved everything. Mm-hmm. But because of the lockdown, it was taking more like 2 months.
Oh.
And then I thought, you know, it doesn't matter. So long as I'm in the queue for it to go on, that's fine. So they approve everything. And they said, right, it's in the queuing system. It will go up, you know, within the next, say, 2-3 months. Mm-hmm. But then they came back after a month and said, actually, we missed something. So could you do this? So I did what they asked, thinking I'd stay at the same point in the queue. Nope. It goes back to the beginning.
Oh, no.
So I just thought, you know what? It will come when it comes. So I was praying. I said, please, God, I really want this show to be on there. Please, I beg you. And then unfortunately, they don't ring you or email you to say, hi, it's on there. They just say, just keep checking, which is
okay.
But then I suppose at the moment, they've just, you know, things are a bit topsy-turvy with the pandemic. Yeah. So I was on my way home a few weeks ago, and I thought, let me just look. So I went into the Amazon app and I thought, yes. But then I couldn't just leave it. So I thought, it's no point having something on a platform. You have to drive traffic to it.
Yes.
So it's interesting. Prior to lockdown, I'd been sending out all this information about my new cookbook and, you know, blah, 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 and all these different outlets. Not interested as much as I would like them to have been. But for some reason, when I sent them like a press release about my series on Amazon Prime, boom, the biggest vegan media, Veg News, which is in America, and a lot of other vegan media, get their news sources from there. Picked up the stories more or less straight away.
Wow.
And then I had all these different interviews as well. And it was kind of mixed in a little bit with the Black Lives Matter because it all happened at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of thinking the Black Lives Matter thing might have helped open the door for me.
Sure. Yeah.
Because obviously they can see that I'm Black with the press release and the images to go with it. And once they click on the links to Amazon Prime to see it. So that has helped me. So had it not been for the pandemic and the lockdown, it might not have been there as yet, because my schedule was ridiculous. But now I'm like, no, I have to pace myself much better.
It's incredible, I think, how sometimes things that maybe at face value are really terrible, really terrifying, and really terrible, really awful, can have really be turned around in such a positive way and have a positive impact on our lives. And that's certainly been your experience by the sounds of it. And I can definitely say it most certainly has been mine. But what I really want to do now is get into it's the number one question I ask all of my guests on a weekly basis. You sound like you've had an incredible journey. You've accomplished a lot of things. You have done things that many people, I'm not saying most, it is most though. You've done things and accomplished things that most people, I think, wouldn't even dare to attempt. And so because of that, I really want to just tap into your wisdom and your knowledge and experience here and ask you, if you had to choose like one lesson out of all the lessons that you've learned along your journey that has helped you to progress and helped you to get to where you are today and to be the woman who you are today, what would be the one lesson that you would attribute to your success? What's been the most valuable lesson that you have learned on this journey we call life?
When I was about 13 or 14, I started at the Sylvia Young Theatre School. And when you go to a stage school, you go on lots of auditions for things and you're in commercials and all these different things. And for some reason, I wasn't getting anything. I was doing everything they said to do, learn the lines, look, coming, look really friendly, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. So I went to my dad and I said, I'm doing everything they tell me to do, but it's just not, every time I go, I'm not getting booked for anything. And my dad said something that stuck with me even till today. And he said, the laws of average say you cannot fail every time. It's impossible. You just have to keep going. He said, keep going and you will get something. And it's almost like he flicked a switch in my head, because right after that, I started to book things. So it was kind of like a mindset. And I told my dad that recently. And he was like, oh, wow. He said, I don't even remember saying it. Because he said lots of things to obviously myself and my sisters. And I said to him, it just shows the impact that certain things a parent says to a child that it can have on you. Because when he said that, I just thought, oh, this is a numbers game. You just have to keep going. And even more recently, I was watching a reality TV show with Tia and Tamara Mowry. And they said the same thing. They said, you'll go on 20 auditions before you book one. So I thought, okay. So I would say that to people, keep going. Obviously, take advice and look at, is there anything you can do differently that's stopping you from getting the success? Is there fear that you're having and so forth? But it's to keep going, definitely to keep going.
Wow. That's definitely a really powerful lesson. And I really want to, so let me just bring in one of the comments here. Bianca says, don't give up on your dreams, go on fighting for it. And it sounds as though you've done exactly that. But here's the thing. I can imagine that there will be people who are watching this who haven't gone to stage school, who haven't, or who may not be, interested in being on stage, may not be in the creative arts as an industry, but maybe in whatever industry that they may be in, or, whatever sector, pursuing whatever career path. How would you say that translates to someone who isn't in the arts, for example?
It can be in any profession, any walk of life, because if you look at examples of success, everyone has had challenges. There's a video clip you can find. I think I've seen it on YouTube where it shows comments that were made about really famous people. For example, the comment is, don't think this person has much creativity. And that person was talking about Walt Disney. And I thought, oh, come on. So obviously Walt Disney decided to ignore that person.
Wow. Yeah.
There's many different, they said things about Marilyn Monroe. They said things about all kinds of different famous people. Yeah. And then there's the classic one, to look at it from a business point of view. The classic one is about the man who left the army, and he was kind of getting on a little bit in age in, I can't remember what years. I think it was early 1800s, early 1900s. And whenever everybody leaving the army, they were saying what they were going to do. So they said to him, what are you going to do? And he said, oh, I don't really know. They said, well, can you do? He said, well, I can cook. And he thought, okay, I've got an idea. So he went round to 1,005 companies saying, I've got this idea. What do you think? And they all said no. The 1,006 one said no. And that person was Colonel Saunders, and that was Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Wow.
So he just kept going. He said he thought somebody is going to take this, and they did. And look at it today.
Wow. Do you know what, Susanne, that's making me really think of something. It's making me think of a quote that I've come across in the past that says that, you know, success is nothing more than going from failure to failure to failure, but without losing enthusiasm. Now, here's the thing. These success stories that are littered with failure along the way, they really sound good and they really sound inspiring. But I want us to get really personal now. I want us to kind of zero into you and your experience. And I wonder if you could just maybe share with us some of the ways that you experienced these so-called failures and literally how you were able to keep going without losing enthusiasm. Or maybe you did lose enthusiasm. I just really want you to kind of share your experience with us. How has that lesson showed up in your own life? Why is it real to you?
So I've always wanted to have my own cooking show, and I've approached probably every single television channel I can think of. And what I found unusual is they didn't all say the same reason why not.
Okay.
So if they all said whatever, and they all said the same thing, then I'd know, okay, this is what I need to do differently. They all had different reasons why not. So I just thought, this is really annoying. And I'm knocking on all these doors and it's not happening like it should do.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, I'm going to just do this myself. So I thought, I know how to put a program together. I've got an idea. I've got lots of ideas. I know how to get a camera crew together. I thought, you know, why don't I just do it myself? Instead of knocking on doors and begging for an opportunity, I'm going to create it myself. So
okay.
I create.
So hold on. I want us to stay right there for a second, if you don't mind, Susanne. So you've talked about going knocking on every door, approaching every channel, and basically being told no for different reasons. How did that impact you? How did that make you feel? Talk to me about that.
To be honest, I don't even think about it. The minute I realize it's not going to happen with them, I move on to the next one, because I think, you know what? Okay, if not you, it's going to be somebody else.
But surely after a string of, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rejections, what does, I'm interested to know, I guess, the psychology behind it and how that would impact and how that maybe impacted you. Because, and again, for those of you who are watching us live, please just let us know in the comments if you've ever experienced being rejected time and time and time and time again. How did it make you feel? So that's a question for you at home, wherever you may be. Let me know in the comments. How did you feel after suffering multiple rejections or experiencing multiple failures? I really want to try and dig into Susanne's psyche right now to find out what that actually felt like.
I think I'm obviously having a theatrical background, you're thick-skinned, you're used to
Mm.
dealing with rejection in
Okay.
that respect.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, I don't think of it as rejection. I just think, well, they can't see what I see. They don't know what I know.
Mm.
And there's many examples in history of people who've had more challenges than I've had in terms of trying to get somewhere, and they've managed to pull it off. So I just thought, well, the message I have in my head is I will not be beaten. No, I'm not going to be beaten.
But where did that come? Where did that come from? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing, Susanne. I know that there will be people who are watching this live, watching this on the replay, who are thinking, "Gosh, you know what? I am being beaten." It's all well and good for Susanne to be able to say, that she's finally got her show now. Yeah, she might have had to do it herself, but yeah, she's done it. How I'm trying to think about speaking to that person who is in the midst of their, we'll call it rejection right now, or maybe their failure. How do they develop the resilience or the tenacity, the drive to keep on going?
So there's a few things that I've heard along the way that have driven me. They said the problem with failure is not the falling down, it's the staying down. So that tells me, get up. You have to get up.
Yes.
And also, you just have to keep going and find people of like mind who are going to help you move forward, people who want you to do well, and people who are going to say things to you that are positive. And sometimes those people are few and far between. So, and it's not everybody who wants you to succeed. So those people who don't want you to succeed and haven't got anything good to say and go, oh, no, that's never going to happen, don't discuss it with them. I wouldn't discuss it with somebody like that.
Yeah.
But I think for me as a Christian, prayer helps me a lot. So I pray and I say to God, open the door.
Yeah.
But faith without works is no faith at all. So you have to do something. You have to still have to take action. So for me, it's just, I really want to do this. And I think you only live life once. And I just thought, I want to do it. And so if they're not going to give me a show, watch. I'm going to get it up there. So when it went on to Amazon Prime, I thought, yes.
That's right. Oh, I love it.
All of a sudden, the speaking engagements are coming in. They're like, oh, right. I thought, yeah, here we go.
It's such a fickle place, man. Listen. I want to bring in some of the comments. Phoebe says, I know I definitely had a few knockbacks and found it hard to get back on my feet. So I can talk Phoebe's business. Phoebe's my good friend. So Phoebe is a fantastic singer, songwriter, an amazing artist. And, the music industry has a very high failure rate. Again, similarly, I guess, with a theatre background, you said you kind of get accustomed to dealing with that, being told no all the time. So, Phoebe can certainly relate. She's been in that space. Tia says, I've given up applying for jobs. The last interview I've done so well and it went to someone else. I have no more drive left in me. I'm just going to stay where I am. I don't normally do this, Susanne, but I just want you to talk to Tia for a minute, please, if you don't mind.
I would say I understand. There's a kind of poem. It says, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and the road you're trudging is all uphill, when funds are low and debts are high and you want to cry but you have to sigh, when fear is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but just don't quit. So I'd say rest a bit, but use that as your time to draw more strength and keep going and watch inspirational things. For example, there's a film called Apple Mortgage Cake where this lady, they were about to take her house away because she was so far behind with the mortgage. And she had a son, I think she has a son, and she obviously didn't want to lose her house because they were going to be made homeless. And she thought, well, what can I do? She was really good at making apple cakes. So she basically started making apple cakes and ringing people and say, look, they're going to take my house. Can you buy a cake? I'll make a cake. buy a cake. And then the local news got hold of her story. And then, in America, they just jump on board. And then she basically was able to make enough cakes and enough people buy it for her to dig herself out of a hole. So I thought, well, that's quite inspirational. She just thought, you know what, I'm going to think a bit outside the box. And I do understand with interviews, it can be really disheartening. And sometimes, I mean, years ago, I worked in corporate organization and I went for a role as a director and they couldn't tell me why I didn't get the role. So you can imagine what those reasons are.
Oh, yes.
But I just thought, if they don't give me the opportunities don't always come packaged in the way in which you want it. So sometimes you have to kind of lean into it sideways. So I would really encourage you, Tia, to say, keep going. Take a little breather if you need to, but keep going. Find different opportunities, or maybe you can transfer the skills of what you do into another role or start something yourself. I would do something along those lines, but don't give up, because why should you? I understand you get tired, and I totally understand that, but watch things that are encouraging, because if you put in business films on Netflix, if you have Netflix, there's lots of films about business, and on Amazon Prime there's a series as well. I was watching Naomi show.
Thank you, Bianca.
Yeah. So watch and speak to people who will encourage you and are inspiring as well, because if you have a goal, keep going. Why should you not reach your goal? And the job market is kind of weird at the moment anyway, so think outside the box, think of something else you want to do, but keep going, girl, keep going.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Susanne. I guess you've led quite nicely on to something that I wanted to ask, with regards to closed doors and how we sometimes perceive them. I think about on my journey, I say it to people all the time. If someone were to look at my professional CV, it would make no sense. It does, like, how does this fit together? It's like you jump from here to there, did a bit of this, a bit of that, and as a result have all this experience in all these different fields. And but what I found is that every apparent or alleged closed door was simply redirecting me to where I was actually supposed to be. And you know what? In hindsight, I now see and recognize that, I'm so glad that this didn't work out, because had it worked out, I may not be where I am now, and I might be happy where I'm at now. So I wondered if you had any insights or any thoughts on closed doors and being redirected.
I'll give an example of a story that I'm familiar with. Most people have heard of the actress called Raven-Symoné, who was in The Cosby Show when she was a child. Now, when she was about 4 years old, she auditioned for a film that Bill Cosby was making called Ghost Dad. She didn't get the film. Obviously, they were quite disappointed she didn't get it, because she got quite far, because the role was really for a child who was more about 8 years old, and she was only 4. But what she didn't know, she walked away and they said, we don't think she's old enough for the role. She's a bit too young. They walked away from that experience, her and her parents, quite disappointed, thinking, they did all this work to prep her for it. She didn't get it. But Bill Cosby was so impressed with her audition at the time that he wrote her into The Cosby Show.
Wow.
So even though that door looks closed, and most people probably never heard of the film Ghost Dad, but everybody's heard of everybody's heard of The Cosby Show. So I think sometimes the door may seem closed, but not necessarily.
Wow, I think that's really incredible, actually. And I really hope that everyone who is listening today is able to take some form of encouragement from that, especially you, Tia. I'm calling you out because, you shared how you're feeling, and thank you for your transparency. Sometimes these closed doors, or these things that seem that they're not going our way, can appear to be derailing us or really getting us down. But sometimes there is a deeper purpose or reason behind that we cannot yet see. But in hindsight, well, you know what they say, hindsight is 2020, right?
Yeah.
In hindsight, you may be able to see maybe a few years down the road exactly why this period that you're in, this time, well, this season was necessary. So I want to encourage you to absolutely hold on, to hang on, don't stop dreaming. And Tia, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. So you can't give up, don't you dare. I'll be calling you after this. But thank you, Susanne, for bringing the encouragement that you have. And Bianca had said something that is really powerful. Sometimes another door opens when one is closed, and I think that's something really powerful for us to think about. So Susanne, I want to know if you can. So we've talked about, the show and how, you suffered having to knock on those doors and be told no for various reasons. I'm wondering, how did you muster up the strength, or where did you get the resolve that no, actually my concept or my idea is good, and basically it's everyone else who has the problem? Because I'll tell you the reason why I'm asking. Sometimes you know how can I say it? All right. Sometimes when everyone else seems to pick out a problem with you, sometimes we'll say, actually, maybe it's me, maybe it's not them, maybe it is just me. But whether you did that or not, you stayed true to what you believed, and you stayed true to your idea. And fast forward, however long, your show is now in existence, and those same people who turned you away are now knocking at your door and wanting your help. So I guess I'm wondering, how were you so certain that this idea was the right idea? I'm sure that will help someone today.
If all of the channels I'd gone to had all said, you know what, this is not a really very good idea, or they'd all said the same excuse, then I would think, maybe I need to do whatever. There was 2 out of them who said, well, they didn't say, what they said wasn't positive, but everybody else, they didn't say anything negative. They just said things like, this isn't a type of show that we would usually show on our channel, or if you want to be on this channel, you have to have advert sponsors. And when I said, well, I can get the sponsors, they said, well, you have to be a big celebrity chef to do it. I said, okay, then fine. So I thought, I can't see that. And I'd shown the trailer and the pilot episode to many people, and I didn't have people coming back going, well, I'm sure your family will like it or anything like that. So I just thought, well, I don't think it's the product. I'm always open to ideas.
Yeah.
I'm always open to constructive criticism. So I didn't think, well, it's fabulous, so I don't know why. I did want to learn and grow. But I thought, they're not really coming up with a strong enough reason why not.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep going. But I was willing to learn and grow, because there was one person who said you need to kind of re-edit it a little bit, which I did.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was it.
So, Susanne, I guess the question that I have for you is, Bianca says cooking was her passion, so she needed to do this, right, Susanne?
Thank you. Yes.
Spot on. Susanne, I guess the question I have is, were you always this resilient? Were you always this strong? Because I can imagine that there may be some people who are watching who are thinking like, gosh, like, were you born like this? Like, how do I get some of what you've got to be able to help me to keep going? As you said, your most powerful lesson was. Where did this come from? And were you always like this?
People ask me this question all the time, and they said, oh, you're really confident and blah, 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 and you're really strong. I would say I present as always confident, and I present as always strong. But what I don't do is, even if I'm not confident about something, I don't let it paralyze me. Even if I'm not feeling strong about a particular thing, I don't let it paralyze me either. So I'm quite happy to keep going, even if I'm not 100% sure that I'm confident about something. So long as I have a clue, I can go with it. So what is the crippling thing is if you feel the fear and that stops you. But I did a presentation once, and the speech was called "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway." So that's what I do all the time. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. Let's go.
All right. I want to, Susanne, I want to talk more about that, because I think that element is where people will really, really, really be able to relate. You see, not everyone has that kind of get up and go and just, you know, as you said, people that can encourage you and push you like that are few and far between. But you, we started to see a bit of the real Susanne when she shared that, that, you know, sometimes she's scared. She don't know what she's doing. But then, you know, has to take a moment to breathe before she gets going again. So I just really want to dig deeper into that. Can you think of the last time when you were completely scared? When you were just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I somehow have to will myself to go forward. When was the last time you felt like that?
I don't know about the last time, but there's a good example that I have of when what I do. This is one thing. I throw myself in at the deep end. And force myself to swim. That's what I do. I'm just thinking of it as you're talking. So in 1995, the Seventh-day Adventist Church has a global board meeting with 70,000 people. It's usually in America, and they usually broadcast it, and they have like a professional news channel called AWN, Adventist World News. So I thought, well, they must want a presenter for it, because I have a TV presenting background as well. So I rang a different channel, not AWN. I rang a different channel and said, "Oh, hi, I'm Susanne. I'm from England. I know that this news program is coming up. Do you need any news anchors?" And they said, "Well, we're not going to be producing it. We're just broadcasting it. But call this person at this number. It's a different company who are producing it." So I did that. Contacted them, and it was a bit like the council. I called one person and said, "No, it's not me, it's this one, it's not me, it's this one." And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. It must be somebody. It was about 6 different people, and I'm calling from England, you know. It's not me, it's this one, it's not me. And then eventually they said, yes, the guy is John such and such. He's actually out the country at the moment, and he's in a remote area, but actually today he's going to pick up his emails. Email this email address, and he will respond. We'll tell him to expect the email. So then I got a call the next day from him, and he said, "Oh, hi." So he basically did the interview with me over the phone, and he said, "Right, you sound great, but I need to see you on camera. So I need a show reel." So if you think it was 95, so
yes,
technology was a little different then. so not 95, it was 2005, not 95, 2005.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was slightly better with the technology. So what happened is then you would just send like a digital video, the small video cassette things.
Oh yeah.
So I sent him a link. I did have a link online. For some reason he couldn't open the link. So I spoke to my agent. She said, "Look, spend money, get UPS it, FedEx Express, anything, get it there in 24 hours. But before it got there, he did manage to open the link. So he rang me and he said, "Oh, great. I really love how you look on camera. Congratulations. You've just booked blah, 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 blah." I thought, "Oh, great. And I put the phone down and I thought, what have you done?" You bigged up your chest and said, I could do this. And I put the phone down and I thought,
yes, I know that feeling very well.
I was so scared. I thought, what did you do, Susanne? What did you do? So I thought, okay, no problem. I'll book myself a class. So I went to the Actors Centre, and they had a presenters class with this really top director called Catherine Wolfe. So when I went into the class, they go around and they ask everyone, "Oh, tell us a bit about your experience, blah, 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 blah." So then when she came to me, I said, "Actually, I'm flying out on Tuesday. I'm going to be a news anchor for blah, blah, blah." And she went, "Oh, okay." And then she said, "Okay, we'll come back to you." And then she moved on to the other person. I took offense. I was thinking she was rude. But good thing I shut my mouth, because I misunderstood what she was meaning. So she went around the class, and then she came back and she says, right, now that we've been to everyone, let's come back to Susanne, because it's always good to hear from an experienced professional. And I thought, oh, okay. So she said, yes, tell us a bit more about what is it you're going to do. So I said, okay. And then when it was lunchtime, she said, can I have a word with you? So I said, yeah. She said, why are you here? I said, well, I'm flying out. She went, no, don't tell me you're flying out on Tuesday. Why are you here now? I said, well, I just want to make sure I've got it right. She says, look, I'll be really honest with you. There isn't much more I can teach you. There's just one little tiny thing that you do that I'd say, you know, blah, 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 this little thing. She said, just go, you can do this. And that's all I needed to hear is you can do it. That's all I needed to hear. When I went, I was a bit nervous to start with, because when they said, oh, this will be broadcast to 13 million people across the globe, I'm like, well, yeah, I can't see them, so that's fine. That's cool. I can't see them. I was nervous, but I pushed myself. I pushed and pushed, because now if I had to do it, I'd feel a little bit of nerves, but I've done it, because the more you push yourself, you learn and you grow.
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah. Wow, what an incredible story. I'm sure, you know, just looking at the comments, I know that people have definitely taken some value from that. I want to bring in a question that I saw Alethea share some time ago. I'm just going to scroll up and see if I can find it, because I didn't want to lose it. So Alethea, I wasn't ignoring you. I was waiting for Susanne to finish her story. So Alethea asks, what does avoiding paralysis look like practically? If I remember correctly, this question came from when you were talking about the fact that you will feel fear, you'll feel nervous, you'll feel scared, but you won't allow that to paralyze you. How do you practically, or what does that look? How does avoiding that paralysis, what does it look like practically? Great question, Alethea. Thank you.
So practically, you keep going and doing what you would do as if you have the confidence. Is basically kind of like that.
Say that again for me. Say that again.
So you keep going. So for example, when I booked the job in America for the news anchor, I felt the paralysis, but I thought, you know what? I'm not going to act on that. I'm going to keep going. So that's why I thought, let me go and take a class. And then I took a class just before I went out. And I thought, let me go. And then when I got to America, I thought, let me familiarize myself with the studio, turn up for work early, you know, do my breathing exercises, familiarize myself with all the crew and everything to make myself feel better at home. So all along, there was many times I could have walked away, but I didn't. I just thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do this. Because this was the interesting thing. Paralysis can kind of make you feel, I can't do it. They don't want me. But the truth was, they were looking for somebody female, reasonably young, was from an ethnic background and didn't have an American accent. And I did not know that when I applied.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And that there's a really powerful lesson in there as well. That, you know, sometimes we can have it all figured out in our own head, and we are, you know, it's that imposter syndrome will tell us, no, it's not you, baby. They don't want you. You're not good enough. You can't do this. And those voices in your head can be really, really loud, that are just keeping you down. But, you know, Alethea, you know, if you don't mind, some of the practical ways that I avoid paralysis, because I think in some ways I'm quite similar to Susanne. I will put my hand up and say, yeah, I'll do it. And then just be thinking, when they like, yeah, we want, like, what? Oh gosh, I didn't think I was actually ever going to get through them. So now you've got this burden, like, oh my days, can I actually deliver what I said that I was going to do? But here's one of the practical ways that I do it, Alethea, and I hope this will be able to add some value to you. If anyone who's ever worked with me, if you've ever been a client of mine, or if you've heard me speak before, you will know that I am a big fan of affirmations. And so I will affirm myself. And in fact, what I remember sharing with one of my clients that, you look, sometimes even despite all the positive self-talk, those voices, you'll still hear them. But I literally tell my clients, you know, you have to shout no and affirm yourself instead. When those thoughts come in, and you know, sometimes I'll do it at home and the kids will think I'm absolutely crazy, just shouting out all of a sudden. But you know, I do believe that we have to shut down those thoughts that come to steal our dreams and kill our dreams, and replace them with things that are more uplifting and empowering. We need to remember that that's something that is habitual. We need to practice. The negative way of thinking, or that paralysis, is nothing more than a habit. It's a way that you have been for X number of years. It's something that you've repeated time and time again. And so in order to break that cycle of inspiration followed by paralysis, I believe you have to do something differently. And I think one of the ways is to be mindful about what it is that you are allowing to be in your mind. You know, the mind is like fertile soil. If you plant seeds of doubt and of inadequacy and of fear, that is naturally, inevitably, what is going to grow. So one of the practical ways that I would say, Alethea, and for anyone else who may be struggling with this, is use affirmations and tell yourself what you need to hear. Tell yourself that you can do this, that I am able to do X, Y, and Z, that I am confident. And you can do that even if you're quaking in your boots, but you just keep telling yourself, because again, sooner or later, the subconscious mind will accept it. But you don't stop there with just speaking and saying these affirmations. It must be followed up with action. You see, if Susanne, and Susanne, I'm sure you'll tell me if I'm wrong, if Susanne simply made these connections and said, yes, I can be the anchor, I can be the news anchor, I can come and do this, and they're like, great, yeah, we want you. If Susanne stayed in her house, it wouldn't matter how much she believed that she could do it. The belief by itself would simply not be enough. She actually had to get up, even if she was terrified, get on that plane, head over to, where was it, Susanne? I can't remember.
America, St. Louis, Missouri.
She went over to Missouri and she had to actually go through it. And Susanne, can you just talk to me about how, just talk to me about the levels of fear, and compare that with how, you know, when you started to do it more often, how that impacted your levels of fear. What happened?
Well, when I got there, I started to feel a bit fearful, and then I thought, you know what, I just need to see this through. But I kept bumping into people who had come in from the UK, and they were like, oh, wow, it's somebody from England who's doing it. Oh, wow. And then one of my friends said, oh, you reached so far, kind of thing. So that was really encouraging. But in addition to that, what I realized is when you push through the paralysis, or what looks like it can paralyze you, it kind of breaks the legs of that paralysis. So having gone to America and done that, it opened up other doors for me. And then other things that I stepped into, it was like nothing, because as a result of that, I was invited by the first company that I had approached, 3ABN, and now I did shows with them for 4 years, and it's them who I'm going to be going back to again. So had I not pushed myself, they wouldn't have invited me after seeing me on the news to say, can you come to America? So what you can think of is, yes, I'm scared. Yes, I have all these doubts, but I'm going to move forward anyway, because the more you do it, it's kind of like the flooding method. If you put yourself through that flooding method, it starts to become much easier by far. You'll still feel a little fear, because as humans, we do sometimes feel a little fear or a little nervous, and that's perfectly normal. But so long as it doesn't paralyze you, you're good to go. Definitely.
Thank you, Susanne. I want to bring back Alethea. She says sometimes the silence is deafening too. When you put yourself out there on social media, for example, and there is little to no feedback, self-doubt creeps in. I wonder if you can take a moment to speak to that, please, Susanne.
Yes, what I would say, Alethea, is with social media, I'm not sure exactly what you do on social media, but you get no feedback, but then sometimes you have to evaluate, what am I doing? And just recently, I've changed on my Instagram the layout of my Instagram, because I was starting to watch some YouTube videos on the best way to do your Instagram feed. And I thought mine looked really good before. And then I went, and it didn't look bad at all. But then when I watched these videos, I thought, oh, I'm a new woman. It's completely different. Even how she put the post together, I just thought, oh, I didn't even think of that. So sometimes you have to kind of look at what other people do and how they do it. And there's many people, there's probably about 1 million videos on, say, for example, YouTube on different aspects of social media. And if you watch enough of them, you'll get an idea. Because I watched it and I thought, oh, wow, I didn't even think of that. Right, I'm good to go. And the engagement can be better. But sometimes you have to reach out to people, because I was talking to somebody about brand deals, for example. And she said, oh, I'm looking forward to getting to your level where I've got brands approaching me. I said, what? I said, no, it's not always them approaching me. I reach out to them. So particularly if they say something, oh, we really like that post. I said, oh, that's great. If you have any products you would like me to review for, jump on it, or I might just message them. You have to kind of be a bit proactive with it as well. So if you're not getting what you want on social media, maybe, I'm not saying you're not, but maybe be a bit more proactive and look at what else can I do? Who can I connect with, and so forth as well? Because sometimes you have to stir up those opportunities. So
that is certainly true. And I think also what I would say to you, Alethea, on that social media point is that consistency is key.
Yes.
If you so many times, and we've all seen those images on social media flying about where that person stops digging just before he reaches the prize, whereas another person keeps going and then gets the prize. Too often we will have the tendency to give up and to quit too early and to throw in the towel just before we hit momentum. And so what I would say to you is, and this is something that I've shared many times before, that there is so much power in one. Every professional was once a novice. Every expert was once an amateur. Every person everyone who has like 1 million subscribers on YouTube started off their channel with one and was able to build it literally one at a time. And so what I would say to you is, don't despise your small beginnings. Yes, putting yourself out there, it can kind of make you feel naked. Yeah, it can make you feel really, really uncomfortable, but learn to not give in to those feelings, because feelings are fickle and feelings change. What I would say is stay consistent with what you know is supposed to work. And again, you want to get some clarity on exactly, like Susanne is saying, to make sure that you are doing the right things so that you will eventually get the results. Do you know something? This has just reminded me of a conversation that we had with one of our other guests, Mo Samuels, a few weeks back. And his most powerful life lesson was to focus on the resolve and not the results. And that blew me away. Thank you, Mo. It blew me away because I'm a results-oriented person, Susanne, and I will tell people my focus is about getting results. I don't really care about the activity, get the job done. That's where I would really pride myself. But I got a rebuke from Mo that day. He said, listen, the results you actually have no control over. God is the only one who can take care of the results. What is in your power is the resolve. It's being consistent in doing the right things. If you just stay committed and you keep your focus on the resolve, the results will take care of themselves. That's not your business. You ain't got no business worried about God's business. What you need to do is focus on the resolve and do the things consistently that will lead to the results that you're after. You want to make sure you're on the right path and stay on that path, and don't quit. Yes, you might have to pivot, you might have to revamp, you might have to rebrand, you might have to, whatever the case may be, but stay consistent. I would say consistency is one of the points where we fall down. We give up too quickly. We think, oh no, I've only got 2 people watching. Let me stop. Or maybe I'm not good enough. No, we build our audience one person at a time. We build our viewers one person at a time. It's all step by step. So I would suggest that you don't worry about that. That's not your business. The numbers will come. And again, it's not so much about the quantity, it's about the quality. You want the right people engaging with your content. So that's definitely my words of encouragement I would give.
The other thing with social media, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes.
So sometimes we want results now, and that's not how it happens.
No, really doesn't. We've got to learn to develop some patience. It can be tough. It certainly can. But Susanne, I guess I'm recognizing I didn't think the time would go this quickly. Alethia's come back in. I've begun to take some of these steps. So thank you all for your encouragement.
Oh, you're welcome.
So glad to hear
well
that.
Done.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Susanne, I knew the time was, I didn't expect it to go this quick. I felt like we just started 10 minutes ago, but gosh, we've been going on for just shy of an hour now. I guess really the question that I've got for you is, we've talked about a number of things today. The overarching message, which I absolutely love, has definitely been to keep going. And I guess really my question for you is, if people who are watching this could only take away one key message from our session today, like they forgot all of our chat and they only took one away, what would that one message be that you'd want all of us to walk away with?
The message I would have is you can build on something, but you can't build on nothing. So you just have to start.
Break that down for us.
What I mean? So, for example, sometimes people will say to me, oh, I want to write a book, but I'm not very good at writing. And then there's all these different things. But if you draft it, then you can edit it, you can add to it, you can evaluate it and so on. But you can't do anything with blank paper. You see what I mean? So you just have to start so you can build on something. So if you write a book and, okay, the book is not that great, you can improve on something, but you can't improve on nothing. So if you just talk about it, I really want to write a book, or I really want to write a TV series, or I really want to write a song, or I really want to do this, or I really want to start my own business. Anyone can talk about it, but if you actually start to take steps, so with the business, you've identified the product or service, you've identified a name, you start to put the logo together, you thought about, is it online, blah, 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 and start to put all those things into place, got a copy of the book, start a business week by week, all of that stuff, then you can build on that. But what some people do, they're so paralyzed, they don't even start anything at all. And that's when you have to push past that paralysis. And even if what you start is not great, you can get help and improve and grow with that. So you can build on something, but you can't build on nothing. So build something.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And I'm sure that final message has really just driven everything that you've been talking about home. And I guess it is... I think it also sums you up pretty well as well, actually. The fact that you're a trier, you will just go for it. Yes, you might be you might be scared, you might be terrified, you might not know exactly what you're doing, you might be blagging it, but hey, you're gonna get in the race, you're gonna be in it, because that's the only way you have a chance of actually winning. So thank you so much for your inspiration today, Susanne. Thank you. Susanne,
thank you for having me.
Oh no, it's my pleasure, honestly. And Tia says she absolutely loves that message. Bianca says start. Wonderful.
Start,
yes, that's it. So Susanne, I ask this every week to all my guests. What have you got going on that we can support you with? Where can people connect with you? How can we, because again, I'm so big on let me just bring this in. Phoebe says, thank you so much for that encouraging word. Gets back to writing the book. Love it. Absolutely.
You go, girl. Excellent. Okay. So in terms of
Yes, how can we support you? Because here's the problem. I think oftentimes we wait for our people to be up here before we start cheering them on. But I want us to really break that cycle and get out of that dirty habit and start to celebrate our people as they are rising, as they are coming up. And so really, this is another reason why this platform was created, to help shine a light on people doing incredible things in their corner of the world so that we can support. So tell us, how can we support you and where can we find you?
So the support I would love is, it's not even going to cost you anything. If you go onto Amazon Prime and you watch my series, Curly Sue's Global Kitchen, you can see here how to spell Curly Sue. So Curly Sue's Global Kitchen. If you go on there, it's a 3-part series. Watch it, and please, please, please leave a nice review on Amazon. So on the Amazon app or on the website, if you put in Curly Sue's Global Kitchen, please leave a review. That would be amazing. I would really love that. I'm on all social media, and my YouTube channel is Curly Sue as well. And I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all across all social media, and TikTok as well. So if you follow me, I'm Curly Sue's Kitchen on all social media and on YouTube as well. Yeah, that's it. Amazon Prime, Curly Sue's Global Kitchen. And then if you follow me on social media, that would be amazing. Reach out, say hi on social media, and say you saw me on the Naomi Empowers show. That would be great. And also, if you want to spend a little money cooking with kids, this is my book. It's available on my website, curlysueskitchen.co.uk. Full color.
Love it. Absolutely love
recipes. It. Yes. So there you go. That's what would be really great. And there's all my socials on the back there that you can take a look. Yeah.
Perfect. Amazing. Well, please, everyone, you guys, you know, Susanne is a really inspirational woman. I get a lot of inspiration from her because she just gets up and goes. And when she's talking to me, when we're on the phone and she's telling me about what she's doing and she hasn't figured it out, but she's just going for it, then I'm like, yeah, I can do it too. I can do it too. And so, you know, this is what this is all about. We're trying to share some of that energy, some of that excitement, something to help get you going and move you from where you are to where you want to be. But remember, that journey is taken one step at a time. So like Susanne said, keep going. And like Bianca said, start. You have to get going. And like Phoebe said, don't quit. Susanne, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real honor having you grace the Naomi Empowers show. Thank you so much. It's really been a pleasure.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. It's been really great. Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're most welcome. And to all of you watching, whether live or on the replay, thank you so much for your time as well, because if it wasn't for you, we absolutely would not have a show. So thank you once again, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In fact, we're doing it all over again next Sunday at 8 p.m. British summertime, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, and midday if you're on the West Coast. I don't know why that confuses me every week. But we have another special guest, and you guys will stay close to my social media, and you'll see the announcement in the next couple of days. But yeah, it's been a great time. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for those who liked, commented, shared, got involved in the conversation. It's always a pleasure being here with you. I'm going to go put my foot up, take some more medication, and have a rest now, because the pain is starting to burn. It is really starting to burn right now. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks again, Susanne. Hopefully get to have you back again one of these days. Maybe this time when you've got series 2 of your show. That would be absolutely wonderful. All right, guys. That's it from me. So I look forward to catching you all again, same time next week. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.